Look around you. The modern world is dying of comfort. People worship laziness as if it were a virtue. They say, love yourself. But what they really mean is, stay weak, stay soft, stay the same. You scroll through your phone, eat junk, avoid pain, and then wonder why you hate your life. You've traded your throne for a couch, your ambition for dopamine, your potential for approval. Here's the truth. You're not tired. You're undisciplined. You're not broken. You're distracted. You're not lost. You've simply refused to command yourself. Discipline is rebellion in a world that worships comfort. Everyone says, take it easy. Socrates never said that. He said, know thyself. Knowing yourself means staring your weakness in the eye without excuse or pity. The weak blame the world. The strong build themselves. Life was never meant to be easy. Life was meant to be conquered. The disciplined man doesn't chase comfort. He chases control. Aristotle said it plainly. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not that. It's a habit, a decision so consistent that the world eventually bends to your will. The undisciplined are slaves, not to rulers, but to their own urges. And no one respects a slave to himself. The ancients understood something we have forgotten. The man who cannot control himself will be controlled by everything else. Plato described the soul as a chariot pulled by two horses. One horse is desire, the other is reason. If you can't hold the reins, they drag you into chaos. That's modern life. People dragged by their phones, their cravings, their fears. Socrates didn't have social media. He didn't need it. He asked the questions most men avoid. Who am I when no one's watching? Why do I fear discipline more than failure? What could I become if I stopped being weak? Aristotle saw discipline not as punishment, but as practice for greatness. He said, through discipline comes freedom. It sounds like a paradox until you live it. When you control yourself, no one can control you. When you own your mind, your emotions, your habits, you become untouchable. But modern men are addicted to being told what to do. They want shortcuts, hacks, and quick motivation. They want a pill for what their ancestors earned through effort. You say you want to be a philosopher, a warrior, a king, then earn it. Through sweat, through control, through relentless discipline. Because discipline isn't just doing what's hard. It's becoming someone who thrives in hardship. Every day, you wake up to war, not with the world, but with yourself. There are two versions of you, the one that commands and the one that obeys. One says, get up. The other says, 5 more minutes. One says, train. The other says, tomorrow. Whichever one you feed wins. Plato said, the first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. Most men never even enter the battlefield. Discipline isn't about doing what you don't like. It's becoming the kind of man who acts whether he likes it or not. He moves because it must be done. Do you think a lion wakes up motivated to hunt? Number. He hunts because he's a lion. It's who he is. It's instinct. You've buried that instinct under comfort and excuses. Every time you delay action, you vote for weakness. Every time you break a promise to yourself, your soul loses respect for you. That's why you feel empty. Not because life is meaningless, but because you refuse to mean something. You think discipline is pain. I say indiscipline is agony. Because pain builds, laziness destroys. And regret is the heaviest weight you'll ever carry. Everyone wants to be motivated. Everyone wants to feel ready. But motivation is the most overrated force on earth. Motivation is emotion. It's unreliable. It's temporary. It's the spark before the flame. but it never keeps the fire alive. The man who depends on motivation is a slave to his feelings. The man who depends on discipline controls his destiny. Motivation whispers, discipline commands. Motivation says, I feel like it. Discipline says, do it anyway. That's the difference between average and exceptional, between dreamers and doers, between talkers and kings. Most people will never rise because they wait to feel good before they act. They think the universe will bless them with perfect timing, perfect energy, perfect clarity. It never will. The world doesn't care how you feel. It only responds to what you do. You say you're not motivated to work out, to build, to learn, to rise. Good. Then you're finally ready to learn discipline. Because discipline begins when motivation dies. You think you need motivation to start, but what you really need is self-respect. The kind of respect that says, I refuse to live like everyone else. When you act in discipline, even when it hurts, you start to build that respect, and that respect becomes power. People say they want balance, but balance has become another word for mediocrity. Balance is an excuse for fear of going all in. You balance because you don't want to lose, but the man who never risks everything never gains anything. Discipline isn't about balance, it's about alignment. Everything you do, your sleep, your thoughts, your habits, they point toward one direction, one mission, one standard. Aristotle said virtue lies in the mean, not the middle. It means not moderation for comfort, but harmony for power. Your actions must play in harmony with your goals. The modern man is torn apart by noise. He says he wants peace, but he invites chaos. He says he wants greatness, but he scrolls for hours. He says he wants freedom, but he cannot even command himself to sit in silence for 10 minutes. You want to be free? Then earn it. Freedom without discipline is decay. People talk about freedom like it's a gift. It's not. Freedom is the reward of the disciplined. You are only free when you have earned control over your body, your mind, and your time. Otherwise, someone or something will own them for you. The man who cannot say no is never free. The man who cannot stay consistent will always chase crumbs from others. The man who cannot master himself will spend his life working for someone who did. Discipline is the most brutal form of love. Love for your future self. It is the voice that says you are capable of more, but I will not let you forget it. The world will call it obsession, but they said the same about every man who ever built something timeless. From Socrates to Alexander to every modern conqueror, all of them were possessed by purpose. And that's what the weak will never understand. Discipline is not punishment, it's liberation. When you are disciplined, you are no longer owned by impulses, fear, or doubt. You are not waiting for the world to give you a chance. You create your own. You become the architect of your fate. Most people never experience that kind of freedom because they never dare to demand it from themselves. They want comfort dressed as happiness, ease dressed as purpose. They want to feel good without earning it. But real freedom only arrives when you have the power to do what must be done, no matter what. You don't need more time. You need more discipline. You don't need luck. You need focus. You don't need balance. You need purpose. The disciplined man is not swayed by moods or seasons. He does not need to feel ready. He decides to be ready. He does not wait for tomorrow. He acts today. That is how freedom is built. Discipline is the foundation of greatness, but most people will never build it. They'll talk about their dreams while running from the pain that builds them. They'll chase pleasure like its purpose. comfort like it's peace. And they'll die wondering what they could have been if they had the courage to live by principle instead of preference. You must decide who you are, not who you wish to be, not who you pretend to be. Who you truly are, when the excuses end, when no one's watching, when the only person left to lie to is yourself. That's the moment a man is forged, when he faces himself and refuses to flinch. You want purpose? You won't find it in comfort, you'll find it in discipline. Because discipline turns chaos into order and potential into reality. Your habits are the blueprint of your future. Every repetition of effort is a brick in the empire you're building, or the prison you're stuck in. Every time you choose distraction over focus, weakness over action, you reinforce the walls of mediocrity. Every time you choose discipline, you carve a window through those walls, and one day, you'll walk through it, free. People think the battle is external, the job, the world, the system. But the real battle is internal. The real war is fought between your lesser self and the man you're meant to become. And the outcome of that war defines everything. You will suffer either way, through the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One pain builds you, the other destroys you. Socrates said, "No man has the right to be an amateur in the matter of physical training. It is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable. That isn't just about strength, it's about potential. It's about witnessing what you're truly capable of when you stop lying to yourself. Every day you have a choice, rise or rot, build or decay, discipline or destruction. The choice is simple, but it's not easy. The world will tempt you to be soft, distracted, and comfortable. The world profits from your weakness, but your soul does not. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be relentless. Because the disciplined man understands that the goal is not comfort, it's control. Control over self, over mind, over fate. Freedom without control is chaos. Power without discipline is destruction. True strength is calm. True confidence is quiet. True discipline is invisible. It's the man who trains when no one sees, the man who works when others rest, the man who keeps promises to himself even when no one else will notice. That's where greatness is born, in silence, in repetition, in self-mastery. You want to change your life? Stop negotiating with your excuses. Stop searching for motivation. Start building momentum. The more disciplined you become, the less you need to rely on willpower. Action becomes instinct. Focus becomes natural. Consistency becomes identity. And when that happens, you'll understand something sacred. Discipline isn't the enemy of freedom. It's the source of it. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. Freedom is having the power to do what's right. The world will always have distractions, temptations, chaos. But when you are disciplined, you move through it all with clarity and purpose. You become the calm in the storm, the stillness in the noise, the fire that never dies. So rise and take ownership of your life, because no one is coming to save you. No one is going to build it for you. You are both the sculptor and the stone. You are both the master and the servant. And the world will reflect whatever you decide to become. So choose discipline. Choose strength. Choose to become the man who does not flinch in the face of challenge. The man who leads when others follow. The man who acts when others talk. Because in the end, the disciplined man doesn't need to prove himself. He is proof